name is Natalia Martinenko, and there was just the beginning of the recording of our session. I think that maybe we can still wait for a couple of minutes to see if anyone else is joining us, and then we will start talking about the open call and all the details, if you don't mind. Great, thanks. Hello. Yes, we are still waiting a little bit, 2 minutes to see if anyone else is joining our info session on the open call, and then we are going to start. I already introduced myself to Ptak Theater, and Yulia, I will also introduce myself to you. My name is Natalia Martinenko. I'm a project coordinator of Culture Helps, based in organization in Berlin, which is called Zuza. And here's also my colleague Artur, who is our project coordinator in Insha Osvita, based in Ukraine. So 1 more minute. Thank you. 1 more minute, and then we will not wait. People will just jump into our session whenever they can. Okay, I think that so far we are not a lot of us are here, but still very happy that you joined our info session for the new open call that is happening within Culture Helps. Maybe Arturo, you also want just like to show your face and to wave with your hand to our colleagues who are present here. Thank you. And I will shortly introduce you the outline of our meeting today. So I will start with the presentation of Culture Helps in general. Probably you already know about our program, but I will share just some basic information. And then I will also share all the details about the open call within the project grants program. And then we will have the open floor for any questions that you might have before applying for the open call. So I hope that you can see my screen shared with you. Yes, great. Then we will start our presentation. So in general, Culture Helps is a program between Ukraine and Germany. In Ukraine, we have our partners in Osvita, who is coordinating the program. In Germany, it's organization Zuza, where I am based, and actually it's program between Ukraine and Germany, but we are covering all EU member states and even some non-EU participating countries in Creative Europe program. The main idea of Culture Helps is to support Ukrainian culture sector in Ukraine and in exile, and also to work with the topic of integration of Ukrainians into new communities with the help of culture. Within Culture Helps program, we have a list of several main activities. So the main thing that we are doing within Culture Helps is our 3-level grant program, which includes individual grant support program. This is a grant that we give for cultural professionals who are working with the topic of war in Ukraine, and we provide them with small-scale grants to support their mental health. Secondly, we have our small-scale project grants, which we are introducing today in more detail a bit later. And also we have the third component of this grant scheme, which is collaboration grants program. This is the grants program to support international collaborations between Ukraine and the EU to build also cultural bridges between Ukrainian cultural sector and European culture sector. Also, within Culture Helps, we are providing different community calls, as for example today, to support our potential applicants with applications. And also, we are providing different community calls also when the grants are implemented by the selected grantees. Also, we are having our Scouts and Mentors programs, which means that during the implementation of the projects that were supported within Culture Helps, we are also giving support to our grantees. And the mentorship program, the main focus of this program is actually to support long-lasting relationships between the grantees that we are supporting. We are not providing like mentorship support as supervisors of the project, because we also believe that projects that were selected for Culture Helps support the people who work within this project. They are experts in the field, but we are mostly interested in supporting long-lasting relationships between the community of Culture Helps. Also, we are working on the toolkit on mental health support in cultural field. It means that we will, in the end of our program, we will provide a handbook with different instruments and methods how to work with mental health and how not to forget about our mental health while we are working in critical context. And also we are conducting networking meetings. Actually, we already conducted 2 of them. It was offline networking meetings for Culture Helps community. And so far, these meetings took place in Poland and in Ukraine. So this is it about like general activities that we are and were conducting within Culture Helps. And now I will share with you more details about the project grants program and the details of the application process. So some general information about the project grants program. It offers support to cultural initiatives and organizations working with people who have been forced to move to safer regions of Ukraine or to Creative Europe countries due to the war in Ukraine. The grant program will help integrate people into new communities through culture, as we already mentioned, and support their mental health. In addition, the supported projects should offer activities for families and children. This is the main target audience. And the proposed activities can take the form of workshops, co-creation processes, educational projects, art therapy, or something similar. Some facts about the project grants program. So it includes 4 calls for the project grants to be announced within the cycle of Culture Helps. This is now the announcement of the 4th call, and it's the final call. Within this call, we are aiming to support around 20 projects. It is expected that we will support 70 of the projects in Ukraine, and 30 of the projects will be supported within European Union. The minimum grant amount for the program is 2,000 euros, while the maximum grant amount is 3,750. In this cycle of the 4th open call, co-financing of the project is mandatory, at least of 25% of the total project amount. And the total amount of the project should conclude 5,000 euros. Who can apply for the grant? So this open call is inviting non-profit organizations or independent initiatives based in Ukraine or Creative Europe. Also, organizations and initiatives actively engaged in integrating people, including families and children who have been forced to move to safer regions of Ukraine or Creative Europe into new communities through culture. Also important fact about independent initiatives. If you are representing such initiative, it's important also for you to have some friendly organizations that can, for example, receive the grant for you and help you to implement the project with this grant. So please mind this, please, if you don't have already established NGO. And some facts about selection criteria. So while evaluating your project applications, the following facts will be considered. So competence and capacity of the team, quality of the proposal, innovative experimental approach, availability of mandatory co-financing, sustainability of planned activities. And some advices regarding the financial part of your application. So application must indicate the requested grant amount in euros. The application amount can be calculated in the National Bank of Ukraine exchange rate on the date of the application. This is mostly considering organizations that are based in Ukraine. Co-financing must be at least 25% of the total project amount. The source of co-financing is the project can be from your organizational own funds, other grant programs, or funds of the project partner. The application should indicate the breakdown of the requested grant amount and provide a brief justification for each type of the cost. If selected, if your application will be selected, this breakdown will be the basis of the budget and will be the part of the grant agreement. And some other financial tips. So what you can include in your project budget: team members' salaries and fees, no more than 25% of the grant amount, rent and utilities, purchase of material assets like equipment, consumables, subscriptions, etc., project implementation costs like transport, catering, photo and video services, and administrative costs, bank fees, office expenses. And something that is not acceptable to include into the project budget. This is the purchase of food and household items, strong alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, medicine, and weapons or dual-use goods. That's it, considering the application process. And now we can move then to the session with your questions or comments. You can just unmute yourself and yes, it's.
So could we start? I don't know if there is somebody else, but I don't see. Can we?
Of course, yes. I think that everyone agrees that you can go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the information.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, we have a question about this independent initiative, which you said that the situation is the following: that we don't have we are a theater company, but we don't have our own NGO. We have been working for Ukrainian refugees in Hungary for 3 years, and we cooperating with an existing NGO. We are the ones who are responsible for the project, and they give us like an umbrella for the administration, and they are the NGO. But what is this independent initiative? Means that basically we as a theater company also could independently apply without this civil NGO. I didn't really understand this.
Yeah, thank you for your question. So this applies to some, for example, informal groups, if they already implement some projects. For example, in Germany, there are some initiatives of people who are not an established NGO, but they're already implementing different activities in support of Ukrainians. And that's, for example, it's called independent initiative. As I understand, you are like a profit organization, right? Because you are a theater, so you have some profit of the performances that you are doing.
But we basically what we would apply for is that we have a project which is to help to integrate Ukrainian refugee kids to schools. So we do, and we would continue this, which we already implemented. So it's already we worked with different organizations, we got support, and this we would like to continue because we have a calls from the schools, more and more schools in Hungary. They would like to invite our program, which is helps them to understand more the Ukrainian kids, and to be a bilingual project, like he's from Ukraine originally and we are. So it's this is what we do, and that's why I asked. So we have this already, but both ways are possible. So if we need an NGO in the background, then I just asked because I heard this and I didn't understand this independent initiate what it means. But is it all right if we have we can really show a lot of results that we actually did.
I mean, we also need to figure out rather we are applying with the colleagues, with the umbrella organization, but we have to inform them.
Just I'm asking that this is what it means. We already have a project with the Ukrainian refugees working, and that's what you meant. I just didn't.
Yeah, the main idea is that, like, technically, we can transfer the grant only to non-profitable organizations. This is like the main idea for us. So
of course.
okay, then it should be, everything should be fine on this matter.
All right, and this 25% of co-financing, this is what we still don't understand. I think
so. There should be some kind of project financing, which is the finance is going to the project, and additional part comes from this kind of support.
So basically, we need another partner who is also financing, and it cannot be a private finance. It has to be another organization who is which is also financing this project.
Yeah, so in general, we can support 75% of your project budget, and then the rest 25% you need to find co-financing for it.
But the co-financing means that it can be financed from a private budget, or we should find another partner, like organization, who is financing, co-financing.
If you, for example, have you mean like private on the level of your theater, if you have, for example, this budget left, or like this just budgeted this amount on your theater account, for example, then you can use this money. Or otherwise, you can engage other partners who can co-finance the rest.
I see. Thank you.
Sorry. Some technical.
Some cat was jumping. We are really sorry.
Fine.
All right, thank you very much. I don't see if there is another somebody. Maybe she wants to ask something.
I would like to.
Sure, please, Julia. Yes.
Yeah, Natalia, thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for giving me the word. I would like, first of all, because it's going to be my second time of applying, and I would rather, I really understand everything clearly by information displaced on a website and by this presentation. But anyway, I would like to address this question to you. So basically, whom you supporting by this project? So basically, the idea is to support and to help displaced people.
So the main idea,
who suffered from the war in Ukraine.
Maybe I will reply to your question considering European background. Maybe Arturo will want to comment on Ukrainian like context of the situation.
No,
but in general, like it's shared.
I think it's a very simple question.
It's a very simple question, yeah. But the main idea is that we are focusing on supporting cultural organizations and initiatives who are working with the Ukrainians, with displaced Ukrainians in Ukraine or in Europe. And like the idea is to support cultural projects. So this is the main thing.
Okay, then my question is next. Although we are not cultural organization, because we were designed and we were developed, let's say, as an NGO to support refugees, but I would say main of our streams, how the project is divided, is really cultural and it's sport. But I'm just myself. I'm really advocating the culture because I know that it's important, and the culture, we're integrating, via activities, we are helping also to manage mental health of people. So and I'm promoting also Ukrainian heritage, but basically by integrating, it's important also to respect European culture.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, although we are not really cultural organization, but cultural organization really they with us in a program. So basically they are cooperating in the case of giving us the platform in whole. I'm also engaging local people, local artists, the cultural workers. So it is, but actually we will be applying as Help Ukrainians Association from Romania. So are we liable
Yes, I think so, because it's also, if you are not a purely cultural organization, that I would advise you to state in your application form like your cultural nature of the project that you're applying it. Really like to highlight it, because sometimes it happens that we receive applications that are really strong, and we totally understand that they're like really very important, but they're coming from different like social or humanitarian organizations and have also like humanitarian character with cultural activities element, and then if you really have this cultural project, it's also fine if you are not purely cultural organization, but you apply for Culture Helps. But you really need to have a strong context introduced in your application form that you are working on the topic of integration of Ukrainians through culture. And if you also mention this mental health component, which is also very important for Culture Helps, please also like try to make it as strong as possible in your application form.
Okay. Yeah.
So like two things: culture, which should be really very strongly outlined together with mental health component.
In reality, it even looks like it is my personal initiatives that find the roots and supported by Help Ukraine Association. So, but I'm not going to go like a personal initiative, like what you said. It's not like private initiative, but still I will be applying from NGO.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I think this is it.
Thank you. Thank you, and good luck. Richard,
yeah.
hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, I got not urgent questions. So especially people from Qatar Theatre, if you want to ask another question, I think you can just interrupt me. Just like, yeah, is it okay? But could you repeat the breakdown, because I think you have some specific idea about how to split between Ukrainian and non-Ukrainian organizations in this grant. I think you said something like 13 and 17 or something like this. I just didn't hear it properly. I'm only interested in the focus of the grant. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Richard. So in general, considering the amount of applications that we will receive, there is the idea of supporting 70% of the applications that are coming from Ukraine and 30% that are coming from the European Union. And in general, we are going to support around 20 applications.
Yeah, that's what I understood. So I won't go into details about our case specifically, but we'll have a lead partner for an application that's based in Kharkiv, and we'll be kind of supporting their application. So in that case, unlike the international collaboration grants, this one has just one solo applicant, and we'll be kind of inside their application. There's probably not a problem with that, I suppose, but yeah, that's just basically the situation. So that would be considered as a Ukrainian application, I guess. We might have like unconfirmed funding, and maybe others might have that as well, as far as the co-financing goes. How should we represent that on an application? Like, is there a specific place for that, or would we write something like, hey, we applied for this grant, but we won't hear about it until later, and if we don't get the grant, then the plan is to self-finance? Like, would we write something like that on the application? Thanks for your answer.
Yeah, maybe Artur, maybe you have some updates how this moment will be, because this is something new that we just introduced in this round. So I'm still this is in the working process. I know how it will look from the part of the reporting, because we already did this within the collaboration grants program. But I cannot say if we need this at the level of the application form. Artur, maybe you can comment on this. probably we need some time to double check this information. In the meantime, when we are double checking, maybe Julia, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, it's a little bit maybe too far, but about the budget, because if it's the question, I think there will be the question about the budget that we would write down, even preliminary. But anyway, so we have to write 100% and only 75 going to be covered, correct?
Yes, this is correct. And also I would recommend maybe to highlight, like somehow to, not to highlight, but identify 75% that you are expecting to be covered by culture helps. And then this 25, this is the rest, you know, maybe you can just like mark this somehow in your budget.
Okay, but do I have to also mention from whom I expect coverage of 25%, or it's not important?
I think that at this point of the application, it's not important. But then if the application will be selected, then probably we will request this information from you.
Okay.
Just to know. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just keep maybe asking because it sense that we have some time, but tell me if we don't. Like say if we don't have time for more questions.
No.
But,
we still have some time, yes, so we can.
Yeah. Is it all right to have a structure where it's like the grant would actually be much less than the total budget for a project, and actually the grant would be used to cover one specific part of the project, but let's say the total project grant, total project budget is something like 30,000 euros, something like this?
So actually, this is not possible because still like the project level grants should be with a budget of maximum 5,000 euros. And then like we will be able to cover 75% of this project budget, and the rest should be co-financed.
Right, so that's a maximum. It's a maximum project budget of 5,000. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your answers.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I think that maybe we will double check this, Richard, regarding your question of co-financing, how it's packed in general on different levels of application, then selection, maybe like contract, and then reporting. And probably we will add it to our frequently asked questions document, and then we'll disseminate about among the participants of the meeting, together also, of course, with the presentation of today's meeting.
And
yes, please. Yes. I see we have more questions.
Just I would like to ask that if we have some question during the application period, then is it possible to ask you by email, or so we can
contact person, yeah.
Because there are some questions which we are not sure now, and we have to figure out, and they will come to us later a bit too. Okay, thank you. That was all.
Yes, I'm just leaving my email here in our chat box, but you can of course find anytime my email on our website, but maybe it will be more handy to have it here. And of course, please reach out at any moment when you have any questions or doubts, because also the time frame to apply for this open call is quite tight. So I understand that you don't have a lot of time to prepare. So we will try to be as fast as possible in supporting your application process.
An example which we have to follow. Okay.
Here is my email already in the chat box.
Thank you.
Maybe I can ask questions about the form. Okay.
You can, if you want, you can. Of course, it's like our space now to discuss.
Just a general question about, do you have any kind of particular protocol form which we have to follow in making our applying? Should it be in some kind of restricted form, or? Yeah. Okay, then might get some form, because
I just wanted to note that in the open call text, you can find the application form, which is available as PDF. So this may be helpful for you, also that you can see all questions and you can prepare them beforehand, and then you can send these questions you can just like fill in the information needed for these questions in the online application form, which is in a untyped form. And also in the open call text on our website, you can find frequently asked questions documents from the last calls. So we are all the time like updating it with new questions that are arising from our potential applicants. And you can also like look through it because it's really very helpful. You can find a lot of tips that will help you to fill in the application form.
Sure, that's would help, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Natalia, one more.
Sure, please go ahead.
Regarding the application, I already touched today a few articles in the application. So it is online, right?
Yes, this is online in a type form.
And if I'm typing, is it saving? Is it safe to keep the screen open with this form for example, for these 2 weeks until 27? Because on some organizations you can really pre-save, and then you can edit. But this form doesn't allow this kind of working process.
Yeah, I need to check because usually at SUSE we are using a different form, which is JOT form, and our partners in Shellsvita, they're using type form. Artur, if you are here, maybe you can give me a sign if the like replies in type form are saved automatically or not. Usually, like from my experience, I'm usually filling in if there is like a Word document with the application and all questions. I'm usually doing this first, and then I'm transferring the answer to type form.
For my safety, I do the same because I don't know the answer.
Yeah. I see that Arthur is writing to me, so I will have the answer now.
Yeah, thank you.
So yes, while you are filling in the information in the time form, it's saving, and you can come back whenever you need to proceed with the other questions.
But can I close the page and then open? Probably doesn't work like this. So basically, the page should be kept opened on a computer.
I think so, but this is something that is not very safe from my personal experience because you never know how your laptop will, sometimes it's just like everything just, I don't know, closing down and you cannot influence this. So better to be on a safe side, to use the Word document, fill in the information in there and then just copy and paste into type form.
Yeah. Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome. Okay, should we, do you have maybe more questions?
Yeah, about the traveling costs. We were thinking that we usually use a car to travel to the schools in the truth of the country. What do you need? What kind of documents you need for the approval of the traveling costs?
Dunking or yes.
So usually it's what we need to prove if you are using your private car, we need to know the route. So you can, for example, build your route using Google Maps, make a screenshot as like a proof of your route. Then you have how many kilometers you traveled by using your car. And according to European Commission rules, you can pay like 22 cents per 1 kilometer. This is how the payment should be calculated. This is also something that we can provide, or I think that it's actually in the financial reporting template. You have this among the instructions and you can see it. But yeah, in general, it's just like the print screen from Google Maps. And of course, if you are paying for the full for your car, please save all invoices in original, because we also need further reporting. We will need originals of invoices to be submitted.
Dunking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the question.
Maybe one more in the last.
Yes, please.
talking about the psychological support of the or mental support, does it mean that basically some person, psychologist, should be involved, or if he will be elaborating on how mentally this cultural activities supporting it would be enough?
It's actually up for you to decide with who you would like to work and who are experts, because when I was sharing also about like our mentorship support program, that we totally trust you as professionals in the field where you work. So we don't like check with what people you are working, because we trust you on this level. So you can engage with whatever people you are working with or you would like to work with in the field of mental health support.
Yeah, that I understand, but each such a person should be in a project.
This is really also depends on how you organize the project, but I would say that it's mostly like the external expert who is engaged to the project on some activities, right?
Yes, it's right. And we had such but we didn't see really a big potential, a big help, and we didn't see a big demand within the communities. And I think it's the downside of our Ukrainian community who wasn't used to such activities or to such professional help. I think more because people find difficulties to open, even though there are problems. Yeah. So basically, I see that cultural activity help me much more. So they distracting, they soothing. This is my experience.
Yeah. Yeah, but usually, like in terms of the project team, so it's like really the consistency of the project team is very basic. You know, the project coordinator or the project manager, then accountant who is doing the project finances, and that's it usually in the project on the scale of project grants. Okay. Other people who are engaged, like on a who are engaged to the project, they are mostly like providing some services, but not on a constant basis to sustain the project on a daily implementation.
Okay. You even answer more wide than I asked you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Please, Richard. Yes, sure.
Yeah, just got one more because I think we have time. So project we want to do is in Kharkiv region, and my question is going to be about what is a displaced person. So this is kind of complicated. And in Kharkiv region, my experience is that it's kind of a mess in general. You have some IDPs that's not like from Kharkiv region, but not necessarily thinking about themselves as displaced or self-categorizing in this way. I think this question is pretty general, but it's just something like how we want to set up a project that's that's inviting people that are displaced, but how do we? I don't know how to finish the question actually, but maybe you can just understand the situation and sort of. It's not. What am I trying to say even? It's like it's about delivering the support to people that need it, right? And then inviting people that are displaced in Kharkiv region. But if it works out to be more general or like, then what? I don't know. I don't know what the question is, Natalia, but maybe you can work out what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand you, but also I'm trying to understand, like in the Kharkiv region, you know, I don't have like a direct access because I never traveled to Kharkiv region, so I don't have the sense of what is going on there on the ground. But I can also hardly imagine how to work in Kharkiv and not to work with displaced people. Because I think that like the topic of being displaced is really very much present over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, like, for example, we have one colleague that's moved back to Kharkiv, right? And she would be defined as not displaced because she's back in her hometown again. So it's like a matter of categorization. I don't, I think if a project is set up that's trying to address displacement and inviting people that are displaced into the project, then that's enough and you don't have to then categorize people as displaced or not displaced necessarily when they're involved in your project, right? I don't know. I can't ask a specific question about this and just
yeah. But in general, yeah, it's also a bit like difficult for me to think because I'm missing the context of the project that you are going to apply with. But I think that in general, like it's also very hard not to work with the topic of displacement in Ukraine currently.
Yeah.
In this on that level, it like anyways will touch this topic anyways because it's present very much everywhere.
Yeah, I'm also just trying to avoid describing the whole project because this is boring for everyone. So yeah, but I think I get it. Yeah.
I mean, like if you will need to also to discuss it somehow, like more in details, we can also do it like later a bit if you have some doubts or something.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And do you think we have more questions or we are ready to close our session? Okay, I think that we are done. Then we will be back to you with information which will include presentation of today's info session, and also I think that we will send you this frequently asked questions that will be also helping for you to find some tips before you will be applying. You will be filling in your application form, and also maybe we will include the application form in document that you have it for sure and not looking for it on the website, because it's really also very much helpful to look through it before you will be filling in information in the typed form. And of course, we are available for you before, in the meantime, when you will be preparing your application, anytime, please write to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was very nice meeting you, and I'm wishing you a lot of luck with the application process.
Thank you, Natalia.
Thank you, and have a nice and safe day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you
You very much.
Bye.